We live in this world that practically demands we share every single moment of our lives. But have you ever stopped and thought about the people who just don't? In an age that's all about being seen, some people are making a very intentional choice to stay out of the frame. It's a really fascinating paradox. And today, we're going to unpack the psychology behind it.
Just think about your own social media feed for a second. It's probably just flooded with personal moments, right? We see everything, from what our friends ate for breakfast to these huge vacation selfies from the other side of the planet. It's just a nonstop stream of lives being lived out loud.
And yet, in the middle of all that noise, you've got these pockets of silence. People who are on social media, but they rarely, if ever, post pictures of themselves. Now, it's super easy to just write them off as shy or maybe insecure, but the real story is way more complex and honestly a lot more interesting. So what's really going on? Okay, so the first big reason has pretty much nothing to do with what other people think. Nope, it's all about a person's internal world. We're talking about people who operate on what you could call an inner scorecard, where their sense of self-worth it's measured by a totally different set of rules. For these folks, their self-esteem, it comes from within. It's not something that gets a boost from 100 likes or gets crushed by a lack of comments. Their value as a human being simply isn't up for a public vote. And this chart really lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got internal validation. Stuff like your personal values, your self-respect, the things you achieve for yourself. On the other side, you've got external validation, that endless hunt for likes, comments, and follower counts. One is stable and it's yours. The other is, well, it's totally unpredictable and it's controlled by everyone else. And this quote just nails it. When your sense of who you are is already solid, the opinions of a bunch of strangers on the internet just don't really matter that much. You don't need 1,000 hearts on a photo to feel good about yourself because you already do.
So let's move on to our second reason. This one is a little less about self-worth and a lot more about self-preservation. It's about drawing a very conscious line in the sand, what we'll call the digital curtain.
In an age where we're basically giving away our data all the time, some people are making an active choice to pull back. And this isn't just passive hiding, it's a very deliberate decision to control their digital footprint and protect themselves from that constant public eye. It's all about setting boundaries. This quote really gets to the core of it. For these folks, some parts of their life are simply not for public consumption. They value that line, and they work hard to make sure it doesn't get blurred. Now, for our third reason, we're going to shift gears from control to vulnerability. For some people, the choice not to post is driven by a really powerful emotion, the fear of what comes back after you click share. Just imagine it. The moment you put your face out there, your image is open to interpretation and to criticism. For some, the potential anxiety of being judged or misunderstood or even just commented on by total strangers it's overwhelming. It's a huge emotional gamble.
And that's the trade-off, isn't it? Posting a picture isn't just sharing a moment. It's basically inviting the entire world to have an opinion on it. And for people who'd rather just keep that door shut, the simplest way to do it is to just not post.
Okay, let's look at reason number 4, which links this whole behavior to a really fundamental personality trait. This is all about the personal cost of being online, or what we can call the energy equation. Now, it's really important to make a distinction here. A lot of introverts are perfectly happy scrolling through content online, but posting is different. That's an active performance. It demands that you engage with feedback, you manage responses, and you spend social energy. So for an introvert, posting a photo isn't some simple act of connection. It can feel like a draining chore. They'd much rather save that precious energy for quieter, more meaningful interactions, so they just opt out of the whole online exchange. This brings us to our final and maybe the deepest reason of all. This one gets right to the core of who we are, our identity, and what it even means to be real online. It's all about protecting the authentic self. For these individuals, the whole idea of capturing their complex, multifaceted personality in one single curated photo feels not just impossible, but fundamentally fake. They feel like a picture doesn't just represent them, it actually reduces them. And that is the whole point, right there. They valued their messy, uncurated, authentic identity way more than any polished digital version of themselves. Their true self is complicated and it's always changing. And that's something a perfectly angled selfie could never, ever capture.
So there you have it, the 5 key psychological layers behind the choice to not post photos: a really strong internal self-esteem, a deep need for privacy, a fear of judgment, the energy drain of introversion, and a powerful desire for authenticity.
And this is really what it all boils down to. That common assumption that people who don't post are insecure or have something to hide, it's often the complete opposite of the truth. It's not a sign of weakness at all.
In fact, it's a deliberate act of protection. It's a way of guarding the things that are most valuable to them: their personal space, their mental peace, and their true sense of self in a world that is constantly asking them to give all of that away. And that might be the most powerful takeaway here. In a culture that is always shouting more, 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 their silence is a statement. It's a conscious choice that shows a different kind of strength, the strength to know your own worth without needing an audience to applaud it. And that leaves us with one last question to think about for ourselves. When you post, what's your main motivation? Is it to genuinely connect with people, or is it simply to be seen? The answer might tell you a lot more about yourself than any selfie ever could.